and a very warm welcome to yet another interesting edition of the program CAC Weekly, a weekly program that keeps you abreast on the activities and the achievement of the Corporate Affairs Commission. I am Amina Jibril. Now, coming up on CAC Weekly, CAC reform initiatives take center stage as the NBA holds annual bar conference. A CAC team makes keynote presentation on ease of doing business at the NBA Confab. Plus, accredited agents bear their minds as CAC technical team resolve their challenges. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break.
Although we still have issues, particularly when it comes to land matters, we have high incidence of applications with names that are closely similar. And the intention is not actually to carry on the business, but the intention is to take over another person's land. So, in that regard, we are very cautious when it comes to such applications. But by and large, things are getting better. We are not there yet. I'm not in a position to judge us. We are the best judges. We have received feedback sometimes that during peak hours, the application is slow, particularly between the hours of 12 to 4 or thereabout. We are working to fix that issue, but it's typical of most applications that are live. Even with our phone, sometimes you may be trying to make calls and it's impossible to connect because the network is busy. But that is not an excuse. We are evaluating the current resources at our hosting facility. If we need to upscale these resources to allow for seamless services, we'll do that.
Now, welcome back. We begin today with a report from the oil city of Port Harcourt, where the Corporate Affairs Commission delivered a keynote presentation on ease of doing business during the 61st Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA. The 8-day hybrid conference held between 22nd and 29th of October 2021 with the CAC as a co-sponsor was themed Taking the Lead. The CAC equally sponsored no fewer than 20 delegates to the event, which had between 10,000 and 12,000 delegates in attendance, both virtually and physically, at the Yakubu Gowon Stadium, Elekahia, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Additionally, the Commission maintained a stand there managed by a technical team to, amongst others, provide support services as well as enhance usability on the company's registration portal, the CRP. Now, the Registrar General and CEO of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Alhaji Garba Abubakar, represented by Mr. Justin Nidiabi Raoul, the Director, but Secretariat, rolled out some of the Commission's reform initiatives. Alhaji Garba Abubakar stressed that the Commission had no option but to vigorously pursue full digitization of its operations in accordance with global best practices.
The insolvency framework that we have before now always led to liquidation of companies. So it was thought that it would be wise to actually give companies that are experiencing financial difficulties to bounce back to life. So the primary objective would therefore first be to try to rescue these companies. Then if that rescue is not possible, then you can now talk of liquidating the companies for the interest of all the stakeholders. So that is why we now have what we call company voluntary arrangement and company administration. The only thing we needed to say in that respect is that those two processes are quasi-judicial in nature. There is the intervention of the Federal High Court at certain level before they are consummated. Now, the other thing I want to say with respect to that is that the Commission has recently developed what we call insolvency framework to implement these new provisions in the Act. Very soon we will expose the draft insolvency framework to key stakeholders for their comments. That is aimed at enriching the process. And when we receive those comments, we will make the necessary amendments before it is issued. I think these were the major introductions that were made, new business framework that were introduced into KAMA. We would also recall quickly that there is provision for what we call administrative proceedings committee, which was actually like a form of arbitration for those that might have difficulties or conflicts in operation of companies. So APC is there. Then the other ones were generally improvements over what we were doing before. And those improvements cut across encouragement of use of technology, improvement in use of technology, then also reform of existing processes.
Now, during the interactive session, the Commission entertained questions on reservation code and discontinuing the acceptance of filing of share transfer notice, amongst others.
So, Mr. Nidia, I'll ask you, because this is my last round of questions, so I'll just take two questions together. And first of all, one of the other issues that practitioners face and that they say a lot is this issue of challenges with online filings. So they face issues such as constant network issues, system errors, the system is frozen, you want to make payments, they say you cannot make payments for 2 days because there's a problem, system, so you have to be watching out when the system is free, and then you can put in your application, some people stay till midnight, because the system doesn't seem to have the capacity to be able to handle the various transactions that is being done. So what is CAC doing about this to make sure that practitioners can enjoy seamless service from CAC? Another point related to that is in terms of stakeholder engagements. Because the Corporate Affairs Commission plays a very important role in businesses, because most businesses are either registered business names or their companies, and their activities are constantly, changes occur. You need to make changes. Investments depend on some of these changes being made, and sometimes CAC can make a change suddenly, which impacts investors. I can give you a life example, at least, that happened to me, where, for years, when investors are looking for record of the shareholding of the company, they look for CAC2 to see what is the record of the shareholding of the company. Even though fresh issue of shares is not meant to, transfer of shares is not meant to be part of CAC2, but over the years, CAC has worked on that. And then sometimes suddenly CAC changed that and said, we will not, transfer of shares will no longer be accepted. And you might have situations where a transaction has closed, a counterparty has collected money, he has moved on, and then you want to file, CAC says, no, this document is no longer acceptable because we have made some changes. And then you have to go back to an investor who has collected money. There's no incentive.
Let me take the first question, which has to do with consent. I think his complaint was that he was asked to pay more than once for the consent, isn't it? Okay. What we advise people to do in that respect is that when you are applying for the consent, you provide alternative names. So that if, for instance, the first one is rejected, the second one will be considered. And nobody will ask you to pay for an alternative that you have provided. But if you are making the two as separate for regular customers, other changes that we do, we get across to the customers. The one that you talked about specifically, that's on the issue of discontinuance of filing of transfer of shares. All of you will know that who a shareholder is not determined by CO2. It is rather determined by share certificate and your entry on the register of members. So at any point in time, if somebody wants to establish that he is a member of a company, the first thing you will ask him is, where is your share certificate? That's number one. Number two, you will now get across to the company who is mandatorily required by law to maintain a register of members. And once there is a change in ownership, the first point of call will be actually the company. You approach the company. This person has transferred his shares. He has surrendered the share certificate to me. So you will request the company secretary to cancel the name of the old shareholder and enter the name of the new shareholder on the register of companies. And if you now want to establish who the shareholder is a certified copy of the register of members that determines who a shareholder is at any point in time. From the point of the commission, where we would come in with respect to members of a company is that at the end of the year, while you are doing annual return to us, then you will now reflect. There is a column in the annual report to make entries in this on the CRP. Then you will now scan your documents on the DigiDoc. But with this new system, that has been consolidated. And what you now have is one flow for registration.
As earlier reported, the CAC technical team led by Mohammed Abdullahi, the technical assistant to the Registrar General, was on ground to resolve customer challenges while interfacing with the CRP as well as providing other support services.
I can edit the name now. This is the meeting. This is meetings. And this is the name. Foundation for Public Interest Law. I think I have copies of it. What about him? I'm going to
Have you thought about it?
No matter how you imagine how many people graduated from my own class. My rank number was 200.
Some accredited agents spoke to CAC Weekly after visiting the CAC stand.
Basically, the complaint is that my application has been pending for registration of an LLP for over a month now. In just over less than 5 minutes at the CAC stand, have attended to me and have assured me that the application will be processed and completed. So.
Okay, why wasn't it processed?
Because of for reasons beyond my control, reasons that nobody knows about. So that is why. But the reasons why it was not processed, the queries, whatever queries we had before on the application, we have already taken steps to resolve those queries.
I made some inquiries concerning company registration and I got the perfect service from the staff. I want to say keep up with the good work. Thanks for being here. I really got 100% service delivery. Thank you.
I came for this conference and in the course of attendance of the conference, I have issues. And I was opportuned to be directed to CAC stand. I couldn't believe it that CAC is here and can serve me without going to Abuja or going through their portal. And actually, I've been having issues to apply for accreditation as an insolvency practitioner, and my curiosity was solved when I inquired about the process, and I was told the entire process from A to Z of how I can be accredited as an insolvency practitioner. The second issue I had was with respect to a post-incorporation brief I'm handling, which is increase of share capital. And I asked a question, and I was I was also given solution as to how I can complete the post-incorporation process. I'm really happy and I'm thrilled, and I wish CAC can be next door to my office back in Kano.
I came here to inquire or find out how I'll go about increasing the increment in share capital of an existing company. They attended to me properly. I wanted to get the website as well as the procedure for accreditation of a lawyer, the CAC, and they have also attended to me.
And I went out very happy because my problems were solved.
What were the problems?
It's with regards to the nature of business that was omitted in my business name certificate, and it was perfectly taken care of. Okay. I'm very happy. Thank you, CAC.
I am an accredited agent of CAC, so I'm here at the Nigerian Bar Association conference. There were a number of issues that I've been having with some of our applications online, so I visited the stand here, and the officers there were very courteous, they were very patient, and they resolved the issues, and so which is very, very delighting. And I want to say kudos to the CAC customer care team, and that should keep it up.
Do you have any suggestion?
Suggestion is that the registration process, I know that 24 hours is the target. At times it is 24 hours, other times it is not. So if the commission can improve on that so that there will be consistency with that 24-hour delivery operation of companies, that would be very wonderful.
We are accredited agents with CAC, and for over 12 years we've been on the platform. Going to the new system, which is the e-filing system, which has removed the interference, personal interference and things like that. We had some issues, especially for the shares increment we made, and we are giving share increment certificate in March. When we went back to the platform for one of our clients, we didn't see that reflect. And also we found out that some of our clients, it is reported that their status is inactive. So having those things in mind, and I was trying to even reshare, kind of do shares, rescheduling of the shares. I was unable to do them, but when I came here at the stand, thank God for this initiative, I've been able to be informed what to do, and I feel they will be done. This is a very good initiative by Corporate Affairs Commission, and I really applaud it.
Any suggestion for the
government? Suggestion is a kind of what is it that could be the follow-up? Because assuming now I go to implement what I have been told here and I get hooked, how do I follow up? So that is what do I call it after sales service, input sales service? There should be that linkage so that if what I have been told, if I go home to do it now, it didn't work, let me still say, please, this thing stopped here, and let there be a further message back to me to continue, since we no longer interface in persons.
I did a limited liability upgrade from business name to limited liability. While I was filling the forms, there was no portion to put share capitals and shareholders. And since then, I was unable to resolve the issue because each time I want to answer the query, when I was queried, they kept telling me that I cannot alter the shareholders. But when I came to CAC stand and I met with the officials, I was asked to log into their portal, and the issue was resolved. I could be able to put in the share capitals and the shareholders, and it was resolved. I thank CAC for their action. Well, the suggestion I have for the commission is, even with their ticketing support system, I tried it once and I didn't get the ticket number. So maybe they should make it more easier for us to get ticket numbers so that we can track them. And with mails, let them give us the right mails we can use and phone numbers we can contact. That would be my suggestion.
I was here to rectify an issue for an IT registration. I was registering for the past 2 months. And alhamdulillah, I was attended to and I got my certificate thereafter. Thank you so much to the technical committee and to CAC teams who are on ground to attend to me. Thank you. I would suggest to CAC to make the processes more simpler than the way it is now.
Simpler, what do you mean by simpler?
Okay, what I meant by simpler is to to reduce to less the burden, because people are seriously witnessing more difficulty in the registration processes than the way it used to be before.
No, you don't think maybe it's because of usability. Some people are not.
Okay, it could be because people are not too conversant with the new CRP portal. That is why.
I'm glad to see the presence. To see the presence of CAC here in the exhibition center. It has been awesome. The technical department will be attending to individuals and then resolving issues in quick sessions. I really appreciate their efforts. And
What kind of issues did you actually come with?
Yeah, I have this issue of paying for certificate download, paying for constitution download, and status report. The remitter will be hanging, but I came and then within a second at least I've gotten the certificates. Then to get back to see the constitution download resolved. That is fine for me, and then I'm impressed. And then happy also meeting Mr. Suleiman, who also promised that every other thing will be resolved, and I'm okay by that.
Any suggestion?
Yeah. I want to suggest that a CAC, is purely business. So the business spirit should be there. We will not be able to have revenue or excel the way we should if the business spirit is not there.
I actually came here to sort out my password reset issue, and within seconds it was resolved for me. And I'm happy I have access back to my portal so that I can continue my job. Thank you to CAC and the effective team here. They have really made my work seamless by resolving the issues within seconds.
Any suggestion to CAC?
Well, the only thing I have to say is CAC, keep up the good work and ensure you keep the tradition of coming to every AGC. Thank you.
Now, the NBA president, Olumide A. Akpata, in a goodwill message to flag off the event, said the 61st edition of the conference represents a novel platform for knowledge exchange on the continent. He added that the event would bring together world leaders, political icons, judges, leading lawyers, thought leaders, policymakers, business icons, and civil society to discuss and produce what he called an implementation plan to foster the adoption of policies, standards, and practices. He also maintained that their actions would lead to socio-political stability, economic growth, sustainable and infrastructural development for accelerated regional and economic integration, amongst others. And that does it for this week's edition of the program CAC Weekly. We do hope you enjoyed watching. Remember, for comments and inquiries, you can please take advantage of our social media handles and our helplines. On Instagram and Facebook, it is Corporate Affairs Commission. Our email is cservice@cac.gov.ng. You could also visit our website via www.cac.gov.ng. And you could reach us via our helplines on the numbers 081-822-99016 or 081-822-98971, 090-874-01598 or 090-874-01599 and 090-874-01600. Do join us next week for another interesting edition of the program CAC Weekly. Same time and same station. From me, Amina Jibril, and the whole team here, it is bye for now.